What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Fantasy Puck video. Today's video is going to be my top 20 center rankings and putting them into tiers. I'm really excited for this video, so definitely stay tuned. If you enjoyed the video, guys, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and for those looking for access to our Fantasy Puck Patreon League, head on over to the description below. If you have any questions or you just want to talk fantasy hockey, make sure you join our Discord. We have hundreds of fantasy hockey fanatics in there actively talking fantasy hockey each and every day. Without further ado, let's jump in and see who my top 20 favorite centermen going into this season. Starting off this bounce back players video, we have Carlson of the Washington Capitals. He reminds me a lot of Dougie Hamilton last season, where Dougie was really bad in 2020. He was dealing with some injury and never really found his way with the Devils. And then he was on sale the next season, and we were getting him at ADP 100, and he ended up being a top 5 defenseman. This is what we're going to see from Carlson going into this year. He played just 40 games last season, 29 points, 12 points on the power play, 124 shots, and 87 blocks. His peripherals were there for the games that he played, but he wasn't putting up the points that we've seen in the past. This is Carlson's worst season since 2013, 1.9 points per 60, but one of his best shooting rates ever in his career, 8.0 shots per 60. He still played those big minutes, 23 minutes per night, and he was shooting at an elite rate for defensemen. Not to mention his 2.2 blocks per game. This just justifies why you should draft him. A very, very high floor. He's going to get you shots. He's going to get you blocks, but also put up a ton of points. He's one of the best power play percentage defensemen in the entire league with Alex Ovechkin there, especially when he's chasing Wayne Gretzky for the goal record. You know there's going to be giving him the puck, and it's going to be Carlson quarterbacking that power play. Since 2020, he has the 5th best points per 60 and the 14th best shots per 60 amongst defensemen. He is an elite defenseman. He was going around the 3rd defenseman last season, and now he's dropped to ADP 95 and defenseman 18 to 20 off the board. Now, I just want to caution that ADPs aren't set yet for the season. They're still fluctuating, and Carlson is rising a little bit. But at ADP 95, he is a huge bounce back candidate. I want to buy low on Carlson. I think he is such an elite defenseman, and you just really can't turn him down as your defenseman 2 in drafts. I think a huge season is coming for Carlson. If not, he still has that extremely high floor that I mentioned. Moving on, the next bounce back candidate, to no surprise, I'm sure you're waiting for this, Jakob Markstrom of the Calgary Flames. Honestly, he could be the number 1 bounce back candidate for this season. He is an extremely good buy low candidate. Right now, his ADP is rising. It's fluctuating quite a bit. So right now, you see 156 on the screen. It may change by the time this video releases. He's falling a ton in drafts after being taken in the late second, early 3rd round last season after having a career year in 21-22. 58 starts last season, a really bad year, but he's still got a ton of volume, a 71% start share, 23 wins, 21 losses, led the league with 12 overtime losses, an 892 save percentage, and a 292 goals against average. First season of Markstrom's career with a sub 900 save percentage and above a 280 goals against average. These are just not reflective of his career numbers, and honestly, a super unlucky year for this Calgary Flames team. I was super surprised when I looked it up. Calgary actually had the 2nd best Corsi for percentage last season, which means they were getting the puck to the net more than any other team in the league except for Carolina. So very good defense out of this team and very strong offense. They just couldn't really translate that into wins. Now, Sutter's gone. I think it's going to help, and there's going to be another bounce back candidate that I think will flourish under a new coach, and you'll see it a little bit later in this video. But for Markstrom, I think you're really, really buying low on him this season. He is going to get volume. He's their starting goalie. They paid him. There's really no competition. Dan Vladar, the backup goalie, should really have no say in whether Markstrom gets starts or not. He's coming off of a fantastic 2021-22 season, a 37-15-9 record with a 922 save percentage and a 222 goals against average. If he can find anywhere in between his 21-22 season and 22-23 season, he's going to be easily a top 10 to 12 goalies. For those people that are in points league that count saves, he's definitely a must draft. He could even go as your goaltender 1, given the volume that he's going to get this season. I love Calgary. They were a very unlucky team. Within the top 12 for top Corsi for percentages, they were actually the only team that didn't make the playoffs. So I'm all over Markstrom this season. I'm drafting him in all my leagues. He is a great, great bounce back candidate, and this will not be the last time you see him on the channel. Moving on, I won't let you wait any longer. You know it's coming. Jonathan Huberdeau of the Calgary Flames. I just asked the Discord on my left. And if you're not in the Discord, make sure you click the link below and join. Who the biggest bounce back candidates are this season? Jonathan Huberdeau was a name that came up right away. He is a huge bounce back candidate. I think right now a lot of eyes are on Matt Tkachuk and just the trade that happened between the two, and how obviously Florida won the trade right now and probably in the long term, given they have a stud left winger for the next 8 years. But I think Huberdeau is going to come back this season with a vengeance. It just wasn't his year. He had a career worst 0.7 goals per 60, a career worst 2.5 points per 60, and a career worst 5.7 shots per 60. If you look here, his stats, 55 points for Jonathan Huberdeau last season after having 115 in Florida, 126 shots, extremely low shot on goal rate, and just 15 power play points. He is a power play specialist and just didn't get it done on the power play. I think now with Sutter out of the question and Ryan Huska coming in, which is the assistant coach, hopefully he gives him more freedom. Huberdeau was at not a career low in minutes, but the first time since 2014 he was under 17 minutes time on ice, which is crazy to think about. If he gets back up in these 19-20 minutes, he's still on line one, he's still on power play one. He's the guy over in Calgary. I like him a lot this season. He's going ADP 130 from a guy who was going late first, early second round last season to now you can scoop him up in the 10th round. He's a must draft player. I love him this season, especially at this value. I want Jonathan Huberdeau on my team, and it's a low risk in the 10th round as a bounce back candidate. Exclusive to our Patreons, if you're interested in competing in a fun and active fantasy hockey leagues with myself and the rest of the Fantasy Puck community, click the link in the description below and head on over to our Patreon. If you have any questions, leave a comment in this video or join our Discord and message me directly. Let's get back to the video. Moving on, someone you're probably going to be seeing a lot of on YouTube. I've already seen Data Draft post a video on him. I didn't really want to double down, but it's someone I really want to talk about. Philip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators is a huge bounce back candidate this season. After struggling last year, he's now on sale. Looking at the current ADP, it's a little bit early, so I want to caution that it's probably subject to change. He's ADP 134, and he's not even being taken in 100% of the drafts. He does have that IR tag right now. I don't think there's any concern. I've been reading a little bit. He seems to be healthy. Now, his goal rate last season was way down, but that's just due to his shot percentage. His shooting percentage in 2021 was at 18.6%, 7% higher than his career average. And now last season went down back to normal at 12.1%. Now, one thing I want to talk about with Forsberg and why I like him so much is because he has such a high floor. He's kind of like a poor man's Evander Kane, just less hits. 10.8 shots per 60, 27th best in the NHL. And he also adds 6.1 hits per 60, which is solid for a forward who also scores goals and plays on the top power play unit. Both of these contribute to his really high floor. He's going to get line one, power play one, big minutes. I think where he's positioned right now in the draft, you can get him in the 10th round, right around Huberdeau, and it's low risk there. Even if he doesn't play the full 82, he still ranks in our projections 38th best for fantasy points per game. So when he's healthy and when he's in your fantasy lineup, our projections are telling us that he is the 38th best forward available. So I really like Forsberg. Health is a concern. The power play production is a concern. I don't really know too much of what's going to happen with this Nashville Predators team. They're a little bit of a wild card, but again, he's on sale. You're buying him low this season. And last season, he was actually better 5-on-5 than he was in the power play. Power play points are way down. 13 power play points last season in 50 games. Season before, 27 in 70 games. So this just shows he was better 5-on-5 and was still producing 5-on-5 when those power play points weren't there. That's a positive sign. I love Forsberg this season. I love his floor and the opportunity, especially at ADP 133. Finally, to conclude this video, someone that's going way later to undrafted right now. He's only being drafted in 14% of drafts. Lucas Raymond of the Detroit Red Wings. I really like Raymond. He's going into his third full NHL season as a 21-year-old. He had the definition of a sophomore slump last season. He went from 23 goals and 57 points in 2021 as a 19-year-old to 17 goals and 45 points in 2022 as a 20-year-old. So his 20-year-old season was a little bit worse, but as a 19-year-old, his first rookie season, he was extremely, extremely good. I think last year, maybe some jitters. We saw some poor performance from Seider. The Wings were underwhelming last season. He is still so young. He was a top pick. He was a top prospect. He has elite upside, and it's his season to prove this year. He's a candidate for a massive bounce back season. All the metrics last year, as you can tell by the stats on the screen, but his per 60 rates, they were all down. 6.3 shots per 60 from 7.4, 2.1 points per 60 from 2.3, and on and on. But this year, as a 21-year-old, they added I would say 30 to 40 goal scorer in DeBrincat. They added some help on the back end with Shane Gostisbehere, who is a very good offensive defenseman. I think he could be in line for a very strong season. He should still see top 6. He should still see power play 1. For my Wings fans, I'm very curious to what you think your outlook on Raymond is this season. Another thing to mention with Raymond is he's only missed 8 total games in the last 2 seasons, so health isn't really a concern for me. In goals and assist leagues, strictly points, I think he is for sure a must-draft player. In some of those hits and blocks leagues, because he doesn't do it peripheral-wise, in the 10-team leagues, probably can wait a little bit on him. But for me, at ADP 176, he's not even being drafted in 12-team leagues. I think you have to be drafting Raymond. I think that the winger position is super scarce this year. And this is a guy with huge upside, a former top 5 pick. I really like Raymond this season. I think it's a season to bounce back and put up those elite numbers that we thought we were going to get from him last season.